said on the opening here, I also won my first year. Do you go back and reflect on that and say, God, this is such a cool thing?
It's pretty surreal when I think about it. 23 years ago, we were staying in the Ritz-Carlton here, and kind of an underdog at the time. Nobody knew what our organization was all about. And it was a group of guys that came together that was a bit unheralded through the season, and we found our stride at the right time. And from that point on, the expectation and the standard was raised. A lot like when you were with the Steelers, when you were with the Raiders. That's a lot what's going on with the Chiefs right now. When they start training camp, they're preparing for this day, and that's the benefit of being and having that organizational excellence that they do.
Speaking of, go ahead, Jimmy.
Hey, your guy Gronk's over here sweating. Did he sweat during the ball game?
Wow, he's really sweating.
I'm dripping all over the place. I'm losing a pound about every 5 minutes. Tom always knows me as a sweater. And actually, sometimes you wouldn't throw me a pass because my gloves are so wet. And every time the football came back to you, you were always so pissed at me. Why are you so sweaty?
I did.
I really just want you to stay away from me because you are dripping. But speaking of being an underdog, you were an underdog in the first Super Bowl here. I've been an underdog in the Super Bowl against you. Everybody's talking about Kansas City, three-peat. If you're the Eagles, like we wanted to play spoilers.
Yeah.
Do you think there's more motivation for them just knowing what they could do?
Sure. And I'm certain that you had all the confidence in the world with your teammates that when you played us in 2007, you could take care of business. And I have no doubt after watching the Eagles play this postseason, they will be fired up and ready for today. There's not going to be any intimidation factor going against the Chiefs that maybe a lot of other teams would have. And they played a great game against them a few years ago. Came up a little bit short. And I think today, if they play well, they could flip the script on them.
I heard you talk about the game versus Kansas City when you were in Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. The game was really won in the 2 weeks leading up to. Pre-snap, your recognition. I think for Philadelphia, one of the biggest challenges is the complexity of, one, Steve Spagnuolo's blitzes, and two, the creative play calling of Kansas City with this young defense. How they react to those situations, I think, will determine the game.
Yeah, well, Steve Spagnuolo, that defense is insane. In 2007, I had no idea where they were coming from that game. You guys had so many things dialed up. It wasn't until after the game that I realized I needed to be a lot better as a quarterback. When I think about to that game, I had to work a long time understanding my study habits so that I could be prepared when I play Spags 13 years later to be better. I had to walk up there and say, okay, it's man, it's blitz, it's zone, and they all look the same. And then he shows you to the left and they come to the right. Then he shows you to the left and they come from the left. Then they show you to the left and they all drop to zone. So you got to really keep your composure. It took me 13 years after I played him the first time to figure out, and I don't think Jalen Hurts has 13 years. So that's going to be a big aspect of this game, his ability to handle the protection.
You got to go, but quickly, three-peat. Hard to do, wasn't it? Hard.
So hard, and it's unbelievable for what Kansas City has done, what that organization has done. And I'll be very happy for them to achieve something that's really historic. We were trying to do something historic in 07, and we had another NFC East spoiler. And maybe the NFC East spoilers can come to life again, but they got a tall task going against Patrick, who's got tremendous belief in himself, his teammates, the organization, the fans. Nobody wants to see him with the ball in his hands at the end of the game.
All right, real quick, we got to take a quick break. Gronk, get beside Tom. I want you to look here at the foreheads. This man's sweating like he went to church after doing the wrong thing. Not a drop of sweat under Tom, who's cool, calm, and collected. We're going to have more from him in just a bit. Not only will Tom talk to us, he's going to show us with a demonstration exactly what makes Patrick Mahomes